2024 was an odd year for movies. There's a lot of good, a lot of bad. I know this sounds like almost every year with talking about movies, but I want to get into the ones that disappointed me the most and how we can fix them. Let's jump into this. Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams, and today I am here to talk about 9 movies from 2024 that disappointed me. First of all, right off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of doing worst movie lists. A lot of people work on these movies, and I feel like they all give their all. They put in hard work and time and effort, so I don't like negating any of their hard work saying that this movie was really bad. So I'm not a huge fan of doing the worst of the year or my least favorite. What I'm going to do is movies that have disappointed me. Movies that I, personally, had some sort of expectation on, and it failed me in my expectation. This may be me, it may be up to the movie. For the sake of this list, I am going to push the blame onto the movie and therefore rectify it by saying, basically, what would I do to fix this issue? That being said, let me know what movies disappointed you down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you hit that like button. Also, I want to give a big spoiler alert because a lot of these movies, for me to say how I would fix it, it is going to reveal some of the plot details of some of these movies. So, big heads up, I will have chapter markers down below in the comments so you can see what movies I'm talking about, so you can skip the ones that you haven't seen yet if you don't want to potentially be spoiled by those and move on to the next movie. We good? Everyone got it? Cool. Let's move on. Number 9, The Mousetrap. It's just a gimmick. This is a standard issue horror movie that is just trying to capitalize on the fact that Mickey Mouse, or specifically Steamboat Willie, is now in the public domain. This would be like the equivalent of me telling you that I'm friends with Sean Chandler and Cody Leach in the hopes that you would watch our videos because I'm affiliated with them. This is just shameless name dropping. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't know what came over me. By the way, you should go subscribe to their videos. I have a feeling that they're going to be big on YouTube. I don't know how, just trust me. So, with other Steamboat Willie movies that are still to come out, one this month, how would I fix this particular movie? First of all, put it on a boat. This seems to be the direction that Stephen Lamorte's movie Screamboat, coming out this month, is going to be going in. Lamorte is known for The Mean One, starring Art the Clown himself, David Howard Thornton, as a copyright-friendly version of The Grinch. Thornton is actually playing Mickey in Screamboat. Which leads to my second way of correcting this: have decent talent. Sure, The Mean One isn't a runaway blockbuster, but I didn't hate it. Or at least think of it with the same level of contempt that I have for The Mousetrap. But one major thing that Screamboat has going for it is the actors. Besides Thornton, you also have Tyler Posey, who comes from Yoga Hosers or Truth or Dare or MTV's movie and TV show adaptation of Teen Wolf. So having a good cast could definitely help audiences take that movie seriously. And speaking of seriously, the last thing I would recommend, treat it with respect. Just because you can use Mickey Mouse doesn't mean that's the entire movie's personality. I still care about character growth and storytelling. Make it make sense. Very likely I'll probably be revisiting this when Screamboat comes out. Number 8, Madam Web. This movie is horrible. But enough about how horrible this movie is. What would I do to fix it? Easy. Just not make the movie at all. Good night, everyone. Seriously, I like that the MCU is moving towards Secret Wars. And my suggestion would be for Sony to follow what the 90s animated Spider-Man cartoon did with Madam Web in regards to Secret Wars. Have her pop in and out periodically, giving advice to Spider-Man to help prepare him for what he has to face during the Secret Wars. This would work very well currently with the MCU Spider-Man in that he is currently facing kind of like an identity crisis of people not knowing who Peter Parker is. It would kind of help reground him and help push him into becoming the full-on Spider-Man that we all know he can be. Then You could possibly, maybe, potentially make a movie about Madam Web and her origins. Just once we've actually been introduced to who she is and what she can do, like, give us that first and then give us her origin movie. That way we have some reason for the audience to give a damn about her. Even though I would probably still go with leaving her mysterious and unexplained, pretty much like the 90s animated Spider-Man cartoon did. Number 7, Kraven the Hunter. What's funny is with all the complaining I did about these Sony movies online here, and even more in real life, this movie actually had potential. Like I said with Madam Web, Kraven really needed to be introduced as a villain for Spider-Man first, before he makes the leap to his own solo movie. Make him the villain of the next Spider-Man movie where he comes to New York and he's hunting down Spider-Man. It would work great with, again, Peter Parker and Spider-Man being the same person. You effectively have Kraven hunting down both Peter and Spider-Man since they are the same person, which makes for a really interesting dynamic. Peter's not safe no matter what costume he's in. And then at the end of the movie, we find out that Kraven really is just a protector of animals and that he thought Spider-Man was prey that he could just hunt for sport. But with that, we can get that solo Kraven movie where we see him as an anti-hero. I know this sounds a lot like what should have happened with the Venom movies, but I will get into that here in a bit. Foreshadowing. Number 6, The Crow. As I said in the review and my 2024 horror ranking, the problem with this movie is it's about 85% or so the story about Eric Draven and Shelley and their love and whatnot. When the original 1994 The Crow, all of that was concluded and we understood that. We as the audience understood how much they love each other within the first 5 to 10 minutes of that movie, and then they spend the entire movie with Eric Draven getting revenge, and the fun that we see of him going after each member of the gang, making his way up to the big boss, Top Dollar, to exact his revenge for the death of Shelley and for himself also. So to fix this, first of all, possibly use someone other than Eric Draven. I mean, we've got dozens of sequels that used a whole bunch of other characters who became the Crow. If you really want to focus on this particular story, you can make it just a completely different character. General audiences are not normally used to the fact that Eric Draven is like the main Crow that we should be following. You could name him anything, like Robert Adams or whatever. Just make it a completely different character if that's the road you want to go down. Otherwise, if you're going to keep it to Eric Draven, follow what the 94 Crow did. Let's make it fun. Have him go after all of the gang members that caused him to die. It was the fun of the original, basically getting to see him play with his food. I love like the back and forth conversations he had with each of the gang members before he kills them, or like his interactions with Sergeant Albrecht. All of that made that movie fun and engaging, which is something severely lacking in this one. Does it need to be a one-for-one recreation? No, but in trying to be poignant, you miss the part where the audience needs to have fun with this movie. Without the fun, you get slow and boring. Number 5. Wait, hold on. Also, did they really play Enya during the scene where he's putting on makeup and getting ready to exact his revenge and waste everyone? Because, let me tell you, nothing sets up the mood to kill fools like Enya. Number 5. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. No lie, I remember being let down by this movie, and I can't remember for the life of me why it was letting me down. I actually had to go back and watch our review for this movie to remember exactly why this movie was disappointing for me. That in of itself should show a problem with this movie. It's not memorable, and I love remembering the first 2 Ghostbusters. Honestly, there's just too much happening with this movie, too many characters, and each one of them have to have their own plot. Easiest way to fix this would have the veteran Ghostbusters come in and help this new Ghostbuster crew get established in the firehouse, and then bugger off. This is something that should be done within no more than like the first 15-20 minutes of the movie. Have them bugger off, maybe they come back towards the end to kind of help save the day, add that little extra oomph for it to be solved. But they're there in spirit than they are there throughout the entire movie. If you're going to introduce a new group of Ghostbusters in the story, then trust them with that story. Let them take control. Let them have the center spotlight of the movie. Yes, I want to see Venkman and Winston and Janine all over again as much as the next Ghostbusters fan. But I want to enjoy this movie without it feeling overstuffed and pointless. We spend so much time with these characters in the side quests, we actually don't get a proper introduction to the villain until about halfway through the movie, and then one skybeam later, we're done. Bustin' feels good, but it's a lot better when there's only a few people bustin' at a time. Number 4, Venom the Last Dance. So Venom the Last Dance is a special movie in my opinion, in that to fix the movie, you have to fix the entire trilogy. And that's funny in that the first 2 Venom movies are probably like the most okay movies that have come out of everything that Sony has pooped out lately. Then this third movie came out with a weird road trip plot, complete with a weird alien-crazed family who are there for comedic relief and third act tension. Otherwise, the story is trying to do too much for a third part, setting up Knull when he should have been set up sooner if you're wanting him to be like a Thanos-level villain. Here's how I would fix this. Make the first movie the Lethal Protector storyline with the Life Foundation and the 5 symbiotes, including Scream and Riot. The second movie sets up Cletus Cassidy and Carnage, while Venom is dealing with another threat, not necessarily symbiotic related at all, but possibly involving Spider-Man. I mean, you're partnered with Marvel. You could use Spider-Man if you wanted. The third movie is the finale, and make it an adaptation of Maximum Carnage. Bring in the cameos and make Carnage the lead villain. That would be a proper way to go with that. Then, if that was successful, incorporate Venom into the MCU movies and make another trilogy about Knull. Set him up properly by, like, say, at the end of this third movie, much like they did Thanos at the end of Avengers, and make him the lead person that we've got to fight in the second trilogy. But you got to be successful with it. That's how I would do the first trilogy and possibly a second one. Number 3, Trap. Oh boy, as I said in the horror ranking, I would want to fix Trap by actually partnering with law enforcement and finding out exactly what they would do to ensnare or trap a serial killer like what's being presented in this movie, because I feel like what would be done in real life is not what was shown in this movie, and that's coming from someone with 0 law enforcement experience. I don't know what's right, I just know that was wrong. There's no way they find out the killer has a concert ticket to a concert that is playing in the afternoon. What? And the police don't know what seat he's in. Plus, the uncle of the singer happens to be standing right next to his section, and he also happens to be the person who gets to pick the audience member who goes on stage. No, that's too coincidental to be taken seriously. Plus, I know not every M. Night Shyamalan movie needs a twist ending, but this one really could have used a good twist to just really help re-engage the audience into what's going on in capturing the Butcher. Because that is the movie I thought I was going to see when I bought this ticket. Number 2, Joker, Folie à Deux. Unlike most people who saw this, I didn't completely hate this movie. Which is funny, because while the first movie was good, I didn't like the concept. We don't need a Joker origin movie, or if you make one, at least adapt the Killing Joke. Instead, we follow some random guy, Arthur Fleck, who can't even get the Joker makeup right. This wasn't my Joker. This was Rupert Pupkin or Travis Bickle with clown makeup on. That being said, director Todd Phillips made a perfectly self-contained movie and didn't want to make a second one because of studio interference. Really surprised studio interference has not popped up on this list a lot more than it has. I mean, like, that was easily to blame all the Sony Spider-Man-less Spider-Man movies. It's studio interference completely. Anyways, they demanded another Joker movie because money. So Phillips throws together a weird concept of part One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and part courtroom drama. Oh yeah, let's make it a musical too. I love Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, and I also love that the Joker dies at the end of this movie, thus fulfilling my ultimate wish that this movie wasn't about the actual Joker or needing to exist at all whatsoever. I'd fix this by making the music a little more contemporary if you are sticking with show tunes, or write totally new songs to begin with like all the other musicals in the world do. Or drop the musical element altogether. I love musicals, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love them, but this movie didn't need to be a musical. Otherwise, this was a fun idea, but it didn't need to exist. Number 1, Alien Romulus. While this is a fine return to the Alien franchise, I can't say this is 100% a perfect movie. Fede Alvarez is a great director. I loved Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. They had great casts and they were fairly well fleshed out. With this movie, other than Rain and Andy, everyone else was about as important as David's girlfriend in Evil Dead. Yeah, see, you can't remember her either. To fix this, I would have spent a little more time on the other crew, give them something more memorable. Plus, does this movie have to end with another human xenomorph hybrid like what we got at the end of Resurrection? Because, let me tell you, that was the best part of that movie, and that was definitely what we needed at the end of this one to really cement its footing in the Alien franchise. I'm being so sarcastic right now. I would have liked something more like Weyland Yutani was hiding an alien queen or something else that could signal like what the company's plans were underlying this entire time, and then set that up for something that they could do like another 2 movies on, making this its own standalone trilogy. That would have been fantastic. Anyways, that's the 9 movies that disappointed me this year and what I would do to correct them. Again, what movies disappointed you and how would you correct those? Are there any of these movies that I talked about that you would correct in a different way? Let me know down below in the comments. Have a full-on conversation while you're down there. And also hit the like button and subscribe. You can follow us. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok if it still exists as of the time of this recording. Who knows? But you can follow us over there on that platform as well. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, again, whatever, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. Also, youtube.com/@RCAReacts. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you go check out my ranking of all 37, technically 38 because I forgot a movie, over on the video that is up in this corner right now. Go check out that video next, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.